Hi, my name's B.L. Achman, and I have the privilege today of being here with Trina Paulus, who is the author of Hope for the Flowers, a book that many of you have either read or read to your children, a book that is an extraordinary sign of hope in a world where hope is what we need. So nice to have you here today, Trina. You know what we need to do before we do anything else? We need to give a little summary of the book. The book, Hope for the Flowers, centers on two main characters. There are two caterpillars, one named Stripe and one named Yellow, and the book is about their adventures, learning how to navigate the world and learning whether what we really all need to do is claw our way to the top, or in the case of caterpillars who don't have claws, crawl our way to the top. The book is about what they learned and where they went. It's an incredibly sweet and simple story, but it's so filled with metaphor. And what inspired you to write this book? It came from somewhere.
I realized how important the image of the caterpillar and the butterfly was in my life, that I'd used it when people had died, and I would make a card for the survivors saying, life is changed, not taken away, with a caterpillar and a cocoon and a butterfly. And then, of course, I got a contract. That always helps.
The book is also illustrated by you. Did you write it and then illustrate it later, or were you doing both simultaneously?
Well, the story came basically in one day. Now it was changed. It was adapted and everything, but it came. I didn't stop for lunch or anything. It came.
I find your ability to both illustrate and write to be really quite remarkable. And I even read a book one time called Doubly Gifted about the very few artists and writers who have the ability to do both, who have written books and illustrated them. You have some very wonderful gifts.
There's a quote from somebody named Coomaraswamy, an Indian, who said, the artist is not a special kind of man. Every man is a special kind of artist. And I've always worked with people like that. And that's what I was doing in Egypt, helping these young girls. Go ahead, yalla, yalla, go ahead. Be careful, but go ahead. Beautiful. That's all you need when you're teaching art in another language.
What do you think makes it resonate so much with so many people?
In some way, we all hope that life can be transformed from whatever dreary aspect we're experiencing or sadness, that it can transform. And many of us believe that this life is not the end, that there's more later, that's even more beautiful.
I know many people have gotten in touch with you, written songs and done plays and made videos. And was that a surprise to you?
It's been a constant inspiration and amazement to me. It has crossed borders, have crossed countries, has crossed languages, has crossed ages and religions and politics. You don't know why something like that happens, but to have ended up with a classic, I'm just very grateful.
People can buy the book on Amazon, correct?
And in their bookstores, you can ask for it.
Well, I'm grateful that I have read this book and really grateful to have had the opportunity to meet you.
Well, thank you. On behalf of Stripe and Yellow, I want to thank you too.
Hi, I'm B.L. Achman from What's Next blog, and I'm here today with Josh Bernoff, author of Writing Without Bullshit. And we have a lot to learn from Josh. Hi, Josh. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, BL. It's great to be here.
So tell me, why is it that there's so much bullshit in writing?
I've actually studied that. There are a lot of reasons, but the simplest way to put it is fear. People use equivocation, they write too long, and it's mostly because they're afraid to actually say what they mean. And that really is the main thing that's behind all the bullshit that we see in business writing.
How much of it has to do with what we were taught in school, you know, where you put your conclusion at the end and you, in conclusion, I still see that in blog posts. How much of that is our teacher's fault? And
Oh, I have a lot to say in my book about the problems with the educational system. In high school, people get taught this rigid format called the 5-paragraph theme. It's a great way to ruin people's ability.
Totally.
Any critical thinking. I have a teenage kid who went through that. And then in college, of course, the longer you write and the bigger the words you use, the better the grade you get. I know because I hired entry-level people coming out of college. They are trained completely the wrong way for communicating in a business setting because they learned that longer is better.
And they also don't know how to research, but that would be a whole nother book. So can you give us like your top 3 pieces of advice for how to get rid of the bullshit?
I will. So I want to be clear here. My definition of bullshit is a little different from what people may be used to. Bullshit in my mind is any communication that does not communicate clearly and effectively. So that takes in all sorts of crappy stuff that's in what we write. My advice for people, the first thing is shorter. Get rid of that initial paragraph of warm up. Get rid of as many words as possible, because with the short attention spans people have now, all of the noise that's out there in the world, they need you to tell them exactly what's going on as quickly as possible. The second thing is to get to the point quickly. It's a hard thing for people to learn, but your subject line in an email or your title in a blog post should say exactly what you're getting, and don't spend time warming up. Tell people your conclusion. It's a natural thing to do when you tell a story. First this, then that, then this, and then as a result, here's my conclusion. But if you talk to journalists, they know who put stuff in the lead, and we all need to do that now. The third thing is to get rid of words that get in the way, what I call toxic prose. And I talk about 3 kinds of toxic prose: passive voice sentences that don't tell you who's doing what, jargon that basically turns what you're writing into something only a small cadre of insiders could understand, if them, and weasel words, which is meaningless qualifiers like very and especially deeply. Whenever you see the word deeply, you know someone's bullshitting you. These qualifiers and intensifiers that don't have any precise meaning, they are actually getting in the way of your stating things clearly and simply.
Boy, I see all of those mistakes on a daily basis, and particularly in email, it's maddening. So I want to encourage people to go to your website. Can you please give us your URL?
Type in withoutbullshit.com and you'll see I blog there every day about politics, about clear writing, about books, just about anything that's on my mind. If you don't want to type that, you can just type my last name, burnoff.com, and it goes to the same place.
Good for you. That's smart. A work-safe email for for writing without bullshit.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Well, I want to highly recommend that people read your blog and also follow you on Facebook, because you are always to the point and always interesting. So I really want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. And you really need to read Josh's book, Writing Without Bullshit. Thank you very much.
Thanks, BL.